Bien, mesdames et messieurs, faisons silence et nous avons le plaisir et le grand honneur d'accueillir son Excellence Monsieur Nicos ANASTASIADES, président de la République de Chypre. Excellence, au nom de la conférence, permettez-moi de vous souhaiter la bienvenue et de vous remercier de votre honorable présence parmi nous aujourd'hui. Monsieur le Président, votre pays entretient des relations étroites avec notre organisation depuis son adhésion à l'OIT en 1960. Ces dernières années, cette excellente relation a été renforcée par une profonde collaboration sur diverses questions allant du dialogue social à l'emploi des jeunes, en passant par l'inspection du travail et la réforme du système de protection sociale. L'OIT a l'honneur de travailler avec la République de Chypre dans le cadre de ses efforts pour atteindre l'objectif du travail décent pour son peuple. Merci, Monsieur le Président, d'avoir accepté notre invitation et d'être venu nous faire part de votre vision. J'ai le plaisir et l'honneur de vous passer la parole.
President of the Conference, Director General, Excellencies, dear friends, at the outset, I wish to congratulate Mr. Jean-Jacques Elmiger for his election to the presidency of the International Labour Conference and to avail myself of this opportunity to convey my delegation's full support in the exercise of his high duties. At the same time, I wish not to only sincerely thank the Director General of the Labour Organization, Mr. Guy Ryder, for his invitation, but above all, to convey both mine and my government's genuine appreciation for his tireless work and invaluable contribution in advancing the organization's objective. Distinguished friends, for more than a century, the ILO has established labour standards which serve as the regulatory framework for the world of work as a means of establishing decent work opportunities for all and achieving social justice through standards such as social protection, the end of forced and compulsory labour, the end of child labour, the right to organise and bargain collectively, strengthening social dialogue and safeguarding the equal treatment among workers. Nonetheless, we must acknowledge that the challenges ILO has to address today are much more than diverse and complicated than the challenges it had to face 100 or 50 or even 10 years ago. Challenges such as an increasingly interdependent globalized world, a new digital era, a rapidly advancing research and innovation environment, development of new types of business and economic and environmental changes, especially climate change. As it is evident, these challenges affect the future of work and employment conditions and, in turn, require the constant evolution and upgrading of the organization's activities and policies in line with our joint and for each and every worker to benefit from labour protection and decent working conditions. Consequently, the world of work is undergoing a profound transformation and we strongly support the aims of the human-centered agenda as proposed by Global Commission for the Future of Work in its landmark report. In this respect, we fully adhere to the proposed scope of the Centenary Declaration based on the aforesaid report and aiming to integrate the organization's future actions in its social justice mandate. We are also in full agreement as regards the organization's intention to adopt a convention and recommendation on violence and harassment in the world of work. At the same time, we fully recognize the need for all member states, Cyprus has already done so, to implement the ILO decent work agenda. This is vital in order to achieve our joint objectives, as this year's chosen theme adheres to advancing social justice, promoting decent work. Further, we recommend the complementary added value of the Brighter Future report of the Global Commission to the 2030 Agenda for Sustainable Development and the UN Secretary General's Peace Building and Sustaining Peace Agenda. All these three agendas that converge with each other and their implementation in an interactive way constitute an cornerstone of achieving in parallel social justice and sustainable development and peace. Ladies and gentlemen, being recipients of the organization's suggestions as regards the way forward in ensuring full and productive employment and providing decent work for all at global, regional, national, and local levels, the goal remains none other than to collectively implement ILO's agenda. This requires solidarity, reciprocity, a dialogue with the social partners, and the commitment to proceed with determined actions, both by ILO and by each member state individually. Distinguished friends, as the preamble of the 19th ILO Constitution states, universal and lasting peace can be established only if it is based upon social justice. It is for this exact reason that Cyprus and the ILO share a long-standing and deeply rooted relationship based on upholding and promoting the founding values and principles of the organization. In this respect, Cyprus has adopted the organization's tripartite structure through which representatives of the government and the employers and workers' organizations exchange views and elaborate collectively labor standard policies. It is also worth recalling that we have ratified 57 conventions and 4 protocols of the organization. At the same time, the already excellent cooperation between Cyprus and the organization significantly strengthened following the economic crisis in 2013, with the ILO offering invaluable technical assistance, particularly through the actuarial valuation of our social insurance scheme and on the issue of the minimum national wage. Ladies and gentlemen, it is a fact that the severe financial crisis in Cyprus that started in 2011 and the consequent need to enter into an economic adjustment program in order to avoid the disorderly bankruptcy of the country had adverse economic and social effects on the people. At the time, Cyprus was experiencing negative growth of around 6%. Unemployment had increased to around 16%. The government had budget deficits of 1 billion euros per year. The economy was in the junk category and was excluded from international markets. As such, what became clear to all, the political parties, our social partners, and the people in general, was the urgency of taking immediate measures and reorienting our economic governance. To this end, the key objectives of our policies, amongst others, were as follows: adopting a prudent fiscal policy with well-targeted expenditure policies, maintaining a stable and competitive tax and legal regime so as to safeguard our competitiveness or comparative advantage as an attractive investment destination for international businesses, promoting at the same time measures and incentives which would facilitate economic and investment opportunities, actively supporting the lower and middle class not only by holding off the enforcement of new taxations, but particularly by lowering taxation levels or even abolishing some taxation levies, pursuing significant structural reforms, amongst others, as regards the pensions, welfare system, the healthcare system, and tax administration, and enhancing the labor market system. The combination of our new economic and social policies, the resilient and strong foundations of our economy, as well as the sacrifices of the people, but, and I would like to underline this, above all, the constructive stance of our social partners led to maintaining labor peace and an impressive recovery. Dear friends, currently, we enjoy a growth rate of around 4% and government budgets with primary surpluses, with the international status of our economy is at the investment grade. Unemployment has drastically fallen to less than 7%, with a declining trend. There has been a parallel increase on real gross domestic product per capita, while income inequalities, as measured by the Gini coefficient, as well as the risk of poverty and social exclusion, have improved considerably. As a result of the economic growth, it became feasible to implement a series of measures to the benefit of all employees and the vulnerable groups, thus strengthening the social safety net, such as introducing the guaranteed minimum income scheme, through which we also increase the beneficiaries, establishing for the first time a national health system which entered into force on 1st June this year as a universal healthcare program, providing the opportunity to all to have access to quality healthcare, raising twice the allowance received by low-income pensioners, including granting Easter and Christmas allowances, introducing for the first time paid paternity leave for 15 days, enhancing the financial support to non-governmental organizations related with social care programs, including daycare ones, increasing the allowances received by disabled persons, reintroducing the special mother allowance granted to families with 4 children, increasing the rent subsidies provided to all those eligible, introducing a new housing policy for those in need, abolishing the special contribution imposed on gross monthly earnings of employees both in the private and the public sector, restoring the system of the annual wage indexation for employees, whilst at the same time following the implementation in the public sector of a code of conduct based on international best practices on harassment. The social partners also adopted a relevant code in the private sector, deciding to establish for the first time the Women's House in order to offer protection, psychological and any other assistance by the competent authorities of the country under one roof to women who were victims of violence. Distinguished friends, however, despite the progress we have achieved, we do acknowledge that maintaining social justice, further reducing unemployment, and enhancing quality and decent working conditions needs constant attention of our policies in order to adapt to a constantly changing labour market environment. In this regard, we are continuously developing and implementing national plans to address the challenges of the future of work by tackling the skills mismatch through in-work training, reskilling and upskilling, and by promoting entrepreneurship. With the valuable technical assistance of the ILO and the contribution of our social partners, we also intend to engage in a dialogue to establish a national minimum wage once conditions of full employment are in place. Mr. President, distinguished friends, please allow me to warmly welcome and commend the initiative at a European level to establish a European Labour Authority. Based on our continued support for the establishment of such common labour authority and our commitment to promoting fair working conditions, social cohesion and the implementation of the European Pillar of Social Rights, we have offered to host the European Labour Authority in Nicosia. The decision it will be taken on the 13th of June, and we hope that our partners, they might choose Cyprus as the place where the ELA will be established. Mr. President, Director General, distinguished delegates, I feel privileged being at these historic centenary celebrations. I can only express yet again my full support to the principles of the human-centered agenda put forward by the Global Commission report, that is, increasing investment in people's capabilities, increasing investment in institutions of work, increasing investments in decent and sustainable work. And it is my strong and firm belief, dear friends, that this is the only, or it is only by collectively adhering to the aforesaid principles that we can achieve growth, social justice and prosperity for current and future generations. Thank you for your patience. Thank you very much.
Monsieur le Président, Votre Excellence, merci pour vos propos qui guideront certainement nos discussions en séance plénière et dans les commissions techniques ces prochains jours. Une fois encore, Monsieur le Président, Au nom de mes collègues et des délégués de cette 108e réunion de la Conférence internationale du travail, je vous remercie de votre présence, et ceci très chaleureusement, devant notre Assemblée aujourd'hui. Voilà, mesdames et messieurs, le scénario continue. Comme à l'accoutumée, nous restons assis. Le directeur général raccompagne son Excellence, Monsieur le Président, et nous accueillerons ensuite la visite de Sa Majesté, le roi Ingwenyama Mswati, troisième du nom du royaume d'Eswatini.